You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome to the deep dive. We take your articles, your research, your notes, and we basically pull out the key stuff you need to know. The idea today is simple. Cut through the noise, get you informed fast, tailored just for you.
Yeah, and we've got a really interesting stack today. Lots happening in data and tech lately. Some big software updates, new tools popping up, and definitely some major industry moves.
Absolutely. So today we're looking at things like Spark 4.0, a totally new lakehouse format, and this huge acquisition that's really shaking things up in data management. So I guess the big question sort of hanging over all this for me is, where's the real impact? Is it these tools changing, or is it more the strategic business stuff? Or maybe both.
Yeah.
Like, let's unpack that, maybe starting with the big launches, the performance stuff. First one, Apache Spark 4.0. And this really isn't just a minor version bump, is it? We're seeing a richer SQL, more Spark Connect support, tighter data integrity, and for the PySpark folks, new plotting features built in, a Python data source API. It's quite a list.
It really is. And what's interesting, I think, is how it hits both sides, developer productivity and the core engine performance. You mentioned the fixes, over 5,100 issues resolved. Plus, these new lightweight clients for Spark Connect feels like part of this broader trend, making these powerful distributed tools easier to use, more efficient, even for things that maybe weren't typical Spark jobs before.
Right, efficiency and making things easier. That kind of ties into Duck Lake, doesn't it? The new open lakehouse format in DuckDB 1.3.0, using standard SQL for metadata, data in Parquet files, offers full ACID transactions, time travel.
Yeah, and this really tackles a critical point. How do you stay flexible? How do you avoid getting locked into one vendor in these really complex data setups? Duck Lake's approach, using open standards like Parquet, which is great for columnar data, by the way, and just standard SQL databases for the metadata,
Yeah.
it's a pretty compelling answer. And, ACID means your updates are solid, consistent. Time travel lets you look back at data from any point in the past. That's powerful stuff.
Super useful. Okay, and sticking with performance, for people using DBT, there's the new DBT Fusion engine. This sounds like a big deal rewritten in Rust, promising up to 10x faster model runs, less memory needed, and critically, without having to change your existing DBT code.
Exactly. That move to Rust, it's a serious architectural shift. It shows they're really aiming for industrial strength performance.
Yeah.
It's not just about making things faster now. It feels like they're building a whole new foundation, probably with an eye on, future AI analytics workflows and making those really solid and fast.
Okay, and one more on the performance side. Pandas 3.0, it's swapping out NumPy for Apache PyArrow as the default backend. That should mean a significant speed boost, especially for loading, reading columnar data, but keeping that familiar Pandas API people know.
Yeah, and this is more than just making Pandas faster for its users. It's a really fundamental change. It brings Python's most popular data library much deeper into that whole Apache Arrow ecosystem. So for you, the listener, that should mean, well, smoother connections between different data tools, different frameworks. Your data pipelines could get a lot more efficient, less friction moving data around.
Right, so we're seeing all these tools getting faster, more integrated, more versatile. But like we touched on earlier, this drive for efficiency isn't just about the tools themselves. It's fueling these massive strategic moves too. And wow, the Salesforce acquisition of Informatica for $8 billion, that's huge. Their fourth big data management buy.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you connect the dots, it just highlights how strategically vital integrated data capabilities are becoming for these big enterprise platforms. It's not just, another tech merger. It feels like Salesforce making a very clear play to own a bigger chunk of that whole enterprise data lifecycle. It signals that the fight for customer data isn't just CRM anymore. It's about controlling how that data gets integrated, governed, analyzed, all inside their world.
Controlling the life cycle, that's a great way to put it. And switching gears slightly, but still on strategy, there's an interesting opinion piece comparing Snowflake and Databricks serverless SQL using benchmarks. Using what they called more realistic variable data, their analysis actually showed Snowflake potentially coming out faster and cheaper than Databricks for common types of analytics queries.
And this just feeds into that whole sometimes tricky discussion about benchmarks, right? How reliable are they really? The article made a point that maybe some earlier results that favored Databricks might have been skewed a bit, by using very uniform synthetic data, or maybe not the best schema design. It's just a strong reminder for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Always test and validate benchmarks using your own real data, your own setup, following best practices. Context matters a lot.
Context is definitely key. And speaking of best practices with your own data, there were a couple of practical pieces too. One showed how you could slash a Power BI model size by potentially 90% just by tackling things like unused fields, those high cardinality columns, the ones with tons of unique values, and picking more compact data types. Basic stuff, but huge impact. And another piece touched on generating synthetic data. Using Bayesian sampling, which is a statistical technique to create realistic-looking data sets for testing or development, but without exposing any actual sensitive information.
Right, and both of those just underscore a really crucial point. Even when you have all these cutting-edge tools, these massive platform plays happening, the fundamentals of good data management, things like optimization, like handling data ethically and responsibly, they are still absolutely vital. You can't skip the basics.
So bringing it all together, what's the main takeaway for you? And does it answer that initial question about tools versus strategy? We've definitely seen this big push for speed, integration, better management at the tool level, Spark, Duck Lake, DBT, Pandas, but then you have these huge strategic plays like Salesforce buying Informatica and the ongoing platform comparisons.
Yeah, I think the takeaway is, well, all these new tools and updates promise potentially big improvements. The real intelligence, the smart move, is understanding how they actually impact your specific situation, your data, your workflows. You need to critically evaluate them, not just take the hype at face value.
Yeah, exactly. The real value isn't just adopting the newest thing. It's figuring out what genuinely solves your problems, what fits your strategy. It always comes back to the right tool, applied the right way for your specific needs. So maybe the question to leave you with is, what assumptions about your current data stack, your current tools, should you be challenging next?
You've been listening to The Vocal Technologist. Tune in next time.